What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Brendan and I'm BManX45 and we're coming at you with another video. We're back to our how to build series here. We're looking at some of the decks that we're going to be potentially playing when AD01 drops, and we're going to be talking about Imperialdramon today. I don't think I've ever done a how to build Imperialdramon. The deck is not changing a super amount from what it usually has been, but there's a little bit of changes to talk about, and we're going to just talk about how the new cards just add a little bit more synergy to the deck, especially after the deck got hit back when we had Stingmon drop to 1. But we're going to get into it right now. We're going to talk about the cards that you most likely play in this deck, and we're thinking this deck might be played once we get those AD01 cards. This Friday is release, and hopefully we'll have our stuff on time. And hey, if you enjoy this type of content, be sure to smash that like button, comment down below, we love to hear your thoughts, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss a single minute of the fun. Alright, without further ado, let's get right into it here. So, going down here, the Digi-Egg you're most likely to play is the Draw Egg. When attacking, if you have a green Digimon in play, you're most likely always attacking with Paildramon or higher, so you're always going to have a green Digimon, so you're always going to get that draw. The other one people sometimes play is sometimes they'll do like a 3-2 split where they play a couple of these guys, because late game, after you've drawn into all your pieces, this is really, really good, because if you're doing like a mirror match, you can see that extra 1000 DP and actually can make a difference, but most likely going to be the Draw Egg because it's just the better of the two. If we get into the rookies here, we are definitely playing 4 copies of BT12, Vmon, and Wormmon. They both have end of turn DNA, and they both have searching abilities to reveal top 3 and add 1 card with Imperialdramon, or the free trait and 1 card with their respective Tamers, so Davis and Ken. So they can both add, Vmon usually has more targets because usually you play at least 2 different types of Davises in Davis Ken and then Davis from BT3. But Wormmon can also add that Davis Ken card, and that is one of the most important cards in the deck. We do got a couple of Vmons here that I don't think you're going to play, but we just threw them in there because sometimes people will tech a couple copies. Like the most likely one that's going to get played is Promo Vmon, the one that lets you, if you have a Tamer, you can reduce the digital cost by 1 once per turn. So you can digivolve it into your champions for 1 less, which is usually always 1. And then you can, when attacking, if this Digimon has 2 or more colors, draw 1. That is a not once per turn effect. So no matter how many times you attack, you're always drawing with this guy. That's another reason why this guy's probably a 4 of. But I have seen people in the past drop at least 1 copy and tech something like this Vmon, the BT16 one, when one of your other Digimon is played or Digivolves, if it has the free trait or is green, gain a memory. So this one's good when you like play it off of Davis Ken and then you play the Wormmon off of Davis Ken or something with the free trait, and then you just get basically a free memory. It also has a plus 2000 heritable, which is actually really nice, and it digivolves on Demi Vmon for 0. So this is one that's kind of nice. I've seen people play it, drop some of the promo for to tech this. The other card that I find interesting is the one we got in BT21. I don't think people are going to play this. Not yet. It has a 2000 plus 2000 heritable. It has when this Digimon would digivolve into a Digimon card with the armor form or hero trait, reduce the digivolution cost by 1. The cool thing about this is it's not once per turn, but it is armor form, which is not something we're playing. We do play 1 armor form card. The thing that I find interesting about this is that the hero trait. So we don't have a huge amount of hero trait stuff yet. We do, and the new stuff we're talking about today is hero trait. And I think we missed the Paildramon. I think I grabbed BT12 Paildramon by mistake. But the new stuff, I believe, is all hero trait. Like here, let's go. Because I obviously wasn't paying attention. Right there, Paildramon. I believe it is hero trait. So yeah, the new Paildramon is hero trait. So maybe later on when if we ever get any more Stingmon or X-Vmon cards that are the hero trait, we could potentially see this card rise in value. That's why I'm looking at it right now, because this is the start of getting more hero trait for Imperialdramon. So I'm just kind of expecting potentially this card will be better in the future. But still, the promo, I would say the unlimited draw is really good. For other Wormmon card, you're probably playing one copy of this Wormmon. It's a really great late game because it digivolves from the trash for a reduced cost of 1. So playing it is really strong, especially if you don't have the pieces you need in your hand, but you have them in the trash. It also has when attacking, once per turn, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. So that's most likely. You're probably going to play a combination of, like 5 to 6 Wormmons and, 8 Vmons. High rookie count in this deck is always really good because you need your rookies to go off. Same with level 4s. Generally, you're going to play a high level 4 count. The ratio is about 12-ish, 12 to 11. And of course, you're most likely you're maxing out on the best guys, which of course are BT12 XV and BT12 Stingmon. Of course, now you would be ST9 Sting is actually a little bit better, but it's hit to 1, so you max out on the one you have. So you're definitely going to be playing, 4 and 4 of those guys. They give you inheritable piercing and jamming, and they also give you memory when you DNA with them, so they can help you maintain turn. And then, of course, they both digivolve on blue and green, so it doesn't matter which Wormmon or Vmon you put them on. You also have the XV from EX1, which has jamming and inheritable jamming again. Usually play like 1 copy of him, maybe 2, depending on if you want 6 blue and 6 green. But a lot of people will cut down to 1 and do 5 blue. Of course, we do play one Paildramon is probably going to be something we at least play at 1 copy. Piercing and Armor Purge, but it's also a blue and a green target. So sometimes just having one of each is actually really important, because if you have one, sometimes it's like, all I have is like Stingmons in hand. But if you get a Paildramon, it's technically a blue. Yes, you don't get the jamming, but you can still DNA Digivolve, which is very important. So having a dual colored card can be amazing. So that's why you usually play one Paildramon. It also has suspension abilities and gains DP, which is kind of nice. Plus, it's got the Armor Purge if something happens when you try to put it out there. And then, of course, this Stingmon's really great because you can play it for cost 3 if you have a blue Digimon in play, which can be really good. Sometimes you can just slam that down with a XV or a Paildramon on the board and then use the end of turn DNA ability to go into Paildramon. Probably not playing BT12 Paildramon. It has a decent end of attack. It's when digivolving. Trash Digillusion cards is okay, but it's just not as good anymore. It's just in comparison to, if you compare it to, of course, this Paildramon BT16 with partition on both sides. When digivolving, suspend all of your opponent's Digimon with as many or fewer Digillusion cards as this Digimon. And this guy's usually always going to have 4 Digillusion cards, 5 sometimes. The least amount he's going to have is 3 just off the DNA Digillusion. So he's usually always bigger than everyone else. And then if DNA Digivolving, none of their Digimon can unsuspend until the end of their next turn. And that's a board-wide effect. So if they attack the next turn with something they put out on the board, they can't unsuspend. It's really good. And then when attacking once per turn, suspend one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. If this effect didn't unsuspend this Digimon, so you get multiple attacks with the Paildramon, which is why it's so good. And then the first DNA, ST9 Paildramon used to be the old one. Used to play 4 of this because it's so good, and 3 of the other one. But it's just not as good anymore. The fact it doesn't have partition. But we do have a brand new Paildramon, which is where I think people are going. And this guy, of course, has inheritable partition. It has partition. And when digivolving until your opponent's turn ends, this Digimon can't be deleted in battle, which is actually really great. So you don't have to worry if you don't have the jamming card. Then if DNA Digivolving, this Digimon attacks target, this Digimon's attack target can't change for the turn, so it can't be blocked either. And then when attacking, this Digimon may Digivolve into Imperialdramon in its name in the hand with a digital swing cost reduced by 2. So this is really great. So you can Digivolve into your Imperialdramons here. You could Digivolve into the ST9 Imperialdramon for 2. You could Digivolve into this one for 1. And you could Digivolve into both your Imperialdramon, like you could Digivolve into the Ace for 3. These are all 5 from a level 5, and I can't remember this one here. Level 5, for cost 5, so you could Digivolve into any of your Imperialdramon fighter modes for 3, which is terribly bad, and get their when Digivolving ability right then and there. The other cool thing is being able to just attack into dragon mode for 1 is really good. I really like that. I think this is a really good ability. So this is basically replacing this one, and we're probably playing like 3 copies of this, because you don't have to worry about certain things. So that's really nice. There's also, of course, we're getting to our level 6s. We're going to play, I think probably people play more of this because it's more, you don't have to have like hidden potential to get into this and maintain turn to be able to try an OTK. Now you can, Digivolve, attack, Digivolve into this, play out your guys, play up another Paildramon for free, do 2 more swings. It's actually really good. And then you can potentially go into fighter mode. I really like this. Or go into this dragon mode for really cheap with other cards, and we'll talk about that in a second. You also have things like so I'm seeing a lot of people like testing out 2 and 2, but I think a lot of people will like lean towards the Star Deck one, just because it helps with like killing your opponent faster. Of course, we have the new Imperialdramon fighter mode, which has security attack +1, blocker. When Digivolving, when attacking once per turn, return one of your opponent's lowest DP Digimon to the bottom of the deck. All turns once per turn. When Digimon are played or Digivolve, you may suspend one of your opponent's Digimon and unsuspend this Digimon. Then, if played or Digivolve by effects, you may return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to the bottom of the deck. So that's nice. Gets some multiple attacks. It has security attack +1. So I mean, he can check 4 with just his ability, which is really good because if you potentially check, it's really easy because if you potentially check 2 with a Paildramon, and then go into the BT16 Dragon mode, unsuspend, go into him, you could check. You can check 2. Yeah, you can't really OTK. It's hard to OTK. The Paildramon's better for that. But there's probably different ways. And it just helps kill your opponent really fast. And it has, because it's in all turns, when Digimon are played or Digivolve, if your opponent does stuff, you can do that on their turn. And then put your opponent's suspended Digimon at the bottom of the deck. So I do like that. I think that's really good. And then you also have Fire Mode Ace is another one you probably might still see play. I don't think aces are so not as good anymore. Like nobody wants to lose 4 memory when their monster just gets countered. So I think I know it's got the end of attack, unsuspend this Digimon, but it's once per turn, so it's basically the same thing as this. So this is just a better version of it. You could also potentially see people playing the Virus Fighter mode, just because it is Crimson Blaze on legs, and because you play Dragon mode, you can just go into it off of Dragon mode. So a lot of people will tech one of these. I could still potentially see that happening, although I feel like the focus is more going to be now on this guy, as well as potentially the new the BT12 Imperialdramon. And like I said, this guy's a hero trait too. So probably this guy, because he is a board suspension, and puts, all of your opponent's suspend Digimon on the bottom of the deck if Dragon Mode is in his sources. So that's really, really good. And then all turns, this Digimon gets plus 1,000 for each color in its Digivolution cards. And it gains security attack plus 1 and blocker. So kind of similar stuff, except for it doesn't have unsuspension. So you play like one copy of this, potentially. Usually one, maybe probably not more. I don't think people, again, aces, I don't think people are playing Paladin mode ace. I just don't think it's, it's necessary right now. I'm not seeing people use this card as much just because, again, unless you can go for game, having an ace is not necessarily the best thing. But it's funny just how it's changed, really, since then. But that, other than that, of course, you have Davis and Ken allowing you to play free VMons or Wormmons every turn. The more you have, the better it is. And then also allowing you to store strip when you DNA Digivolve and gain memory. So that's going to be at 4. You're probably playing at least a couple copies of this because it's a really good searcher. Oh wait, that's the VT12 one, sorry. You're not playing this because it's not the right one. You're playing this guy. Moto Mia, you're playing BT3 Davis because it searches a blue and a green and it's your memory tamer. Probably playing some form of these, maybe not Digital Gate Open, but I do like Digital Gate Open because it reveals top 3, adds a Digimon card or tamer to your hand, and then main delay, you can trash it to play a tamer card with the same color as any of your Digimon on the field with a play cost reduced by 4. So you can play your Davis and Ken for free if you get it later in the game. And then this searches you a card. So it's like it costs 1 more to search, but it's just basically potentially an extra copy of this in your deck since none of our effects play Tamers for free. And then Jade Memory Boost because everything's green and blue. So we like that one. And then for and blue also meets its color requirements, so you're good on everything. And then Return of the Primogenitor, potentially because this helps you defensively get into things on your opponent's turn when your opponent when your free trait would be deleted other than by one of your effects. You can Digivolve it into a card with Imperialdramon and its name in the hand without paying the cost and prevent that deletion. Plus, it also lets you Digivolve into a level 5 or higher Digimon card with the Digivolution cost reduced by 4. So you play 2, reduce it by 4, so you can Digivolve into your Paildramon without having to DNA. You can also, for 2, go into one of your other Digivolutions. So that's really good. But that is the deck, guys. That is what's going on here. You probably only play like a copy or 2 of this, and same with the 1 copy of that. That's kind of where we are with the deck. The new Paildramon, the new Imperialdramon, really, really good, and I think it's going to make the deck really good. But tell me what you guys think. Tell me what your thoughts are about this new support, and do you think we're going to get more support soon? Like, it would be nice to have a new Stingmon and an XVmon, but we'll see if we get that stuff in another set or what's going on, and if this new support kind of revives and makes this deck a little bit more competitive, because I really do love Imperialdramon. It's the deck that I've done the best with. I think top 20, top 32, I think 24th place is the best I've ever done, and it was because of this deck. And so we're really excited to try and play it again and see what it can do with this new support. But it looks like that's all the time we have for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we hope to see you in the next video. As always, have a wonderful day, and that's all for now, folks.